Good evening, beautiful people. Good evening. Welcome to the Beneficial Blerd channel. I am Jam, your Beneficial Blerd. I hope you all are doing well this evening. I want to talk about why is unplugging from the matrix so difficult? Like, why is it so difficult to separate ourselves from the system that we are so connected and tied to, particularly as men? As I am personally trying to get my life together, I realize how much I've been conditioned and programmed into the matrix that's running and ruining our world. The Matrix is one of my favorite movies, probably my favorite movie of all time. And I see so many good examples that represent the process of trying to heal and unplug from the messed up systems we've been plugged into since birth. And honestly, it has been carried on and continued for generations, particularly as Black people. But even in the process of becoming aware of the matrix, like many of us are, it's a whole other thing actually escaping it or unplugging from it. I think many of us are aware of the oppressive systems and tools that exist around us. We hear about it, we see it. Sadly, in many cases, we contribute to it. But I'm grateful that there are resources, communities, and people out there doing the work to help set us free, if we choose to be free. One of the reasons I don't like the red pill concept that we see in the manosphere and all that stuff, because I think it bastardizes a lot of the awesome things related to this movie. Shout out to Sophia Stewart, the mother of the Matrix, a Black woman who created the concept of the Matrix, Terminator, and the stuff is stolen from her. But recently I was thinking of the work I've been trying to do personally to unplug, and it reminded me of the scene from the movie where Neo first wakes up from the Matrix. This scene can be somewhat graphic, so just a warning. You get the point, right? So again, if you've never seen that, or that's from the first Matrix, and that's after he gets unplugged and he's talked to Morpheus and stuff like that, and now he's been set free from the Matrix, right? He took the red pill, went through the whole thing, and now he's been set free. So he's being unplugged from the Matrix. The thing about the unplugging process is that there's a lot of steps. There are a lot of cables, there are a lot of connections that we have to go through. And I'm reminded often by the seers or the people in my life, people who have eyes to see, majority of them Black women, particularly my wife, that I still have a lot of unplugging to do. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for their awareness. I'm grateful for the things that they share with me and they help to make me aware of, because it's still a process. Like, just looking at that scene, when you see him waking up and he's coming to the realization, or trying to, of all the stuff that's going on around him, he's covered in all of these cables, all of these things that he's connected to inside of this tube that he was being incubated and used in. In a psychological way, we are in that same kind of place. We are connected to the system with all these different cables and plugs and all these things connected to us. Emotionally, mentally, physically, psychologically, all these things, right? To be free from the matrix, we have to be unplugged from all of that. And going through that process can be difficult. Clearly, in the movie, we see that he's waking up, freaking out. You're seeing all this stuff around him, right? These big old columns of people, all these people who are plugged into the same thing. Of course, he has no real idea what's going on, right? So one, is traumatic to come to the awareness of, wow, I'm part of this larger system. Then this giant robot flies up in front of me and then I'm freaking out, right? But going through that process, he gets unplugged from everything. The major one that comes out from the back of his head, all the stuff in his arms, all of his body. So going through that unplugging process from the matrix is difficult. A big part of it is difficult because it hurts. It hurts to separate yourself from all the things that you've been connected to since you've been alive. All the different concepts, all the different isms, all of the different things that are tied to the system that we're part of. You have to be unplugged from all of it. And it hurts, especially if you have, mainly talking to black men, you have levels of privilege that you're not aware of, that we're not aware of, being a man in a patriarchal society and having to unplug from that, question it, face it, deal with it. It's also difficult waking up or being unplugged from the matrix because the matrix itself will discard of you. we saw, like, soon as he was unplugged, they got everything out of him. They literally just shot him down the tube. Like, they flushed him. Neo was flushed away because he was no longer usable and he was just tossed out. And that's what they would do, right? Like in the movie, you see whenever somebody died or anything like that, they would unplug them and just flush them down the toilet and discard of them. The same way the system treats people every day. If you're not useful, if you're not benefiting the system as a whole, you will be discarded. And a big part of that is in the way that we think. So if you're pushing back against, say, like a big plug that we see in our culture is capitalism, if you're not rocking with it, if you're pushing back against it, if you want to offer something different, you can get flushed, you can get discarded. People don't want to talk to you. People don't want to support you. You can be treated like an enemy of the state if you're pushing back against these concepts or these parts of the matrix. So yeah, that can be difficult to unplug because you'll be discarded. Another reason it's difficult is because it can be overwhelming. Once you start seeing and becoming aware of all the different things, all the different parts of the system that's causing harm to us, causing harm to the people we care about, causing harm to the world that we live on, it becomes overwhelming. Personally, for me, like, again, I go back to when I guess some of the things really started opening up my eyes, and a lot of what my wife was sharing with me and other women were sharing with me and stuff online. It is that initial introduction to like the manosphere and hearing how trashy we are as men in our society and our community, and becoming aware of a lot of the beliefs and thoughts that we have been holding on to, a lot of the beliefs and thoughts that we uphold and that we continue to pass down. You really start questioning a lot of stuff. Like for me, it took a while to actually get to the place of realizing and understanding why women say it's all men. You don't want to accept that, right? I think as men, we don't want to accept that. We don't want to hear that, because if that's true, if it's all men, that includes you. That includes you. It includes your favorite pastor. It includes your favorite celebrity. It includes your dad. It includes your uncle. It includes your best friend. If they're all men, we don't want to hear that. We want to find any inkling of hope that we all can't be that bad. But the more time has passed, at least for me, the more aware I'm becoming that it is all men. Sure, it can be varying degrees of terrible, but terrible is still terrible. Whether it's a terrible at a level 1 or a terrible at a level 100, terrible is still terrible, right? Poop is still poop. Whether it's a little bit of poop or a lot of poop, terrible is terrible. And so like having to accept that stuff and all of the realities of the world that we live in, some of the trashiest stuff, some of the terriblest stuff can be overwhelming. And so that can make it difficult to unplug from the matrix as well. Part of that is realizing how many things you're connected to, how many different things we are connected to that this system, again, makes us dependent on. Again, I mentioned capitalism, patriarchy is a big one, some religious institutions, a lot of religious institutions, sexism, misogyny, elitism. Like there are so many isms and systems of oppressions and institutions and all of these concepts and beliefs that ultimately are causing harm to the whole, causing harm to us, causing harm to those we love. But we have to unplug from that stuff, especially if we want to be beneficial, especially if we want growth for our community, especially if we want to actually be free and we want others to be free, right? We have to unplug from that stuff. But it's difficult seeing all the stuff that we're connected to and realizing that we have to cut all of those plugs, all of those ties. We have to cut all of that stuff off. Like we can't just hold on to it, right? Like even if using Neo again in the movie, if he was still connected to one or two of those plugs, he couldn't have been set completely free. He still would have been attached to the system. They still would have found some way to siphon from him. And the same is true for us. If we don't recognize and see all the things that we need to disconnect from, all the things that we need to deny, all the things that we need to fight against, we will continue to feed into this machine and feed into the system that's causing us harm and harm to those around us. And again, some of the major isms and structures and institutions that we have to really challenge and become aware of. And I think, particularly as men, that we need to face and be honest about are like patriarchy, capitalism, sexism, misogyny, religion. Those are just the few. And I saw this video earlier today, actually, from another YouTuber. I want to shout her out, Shayna Condi. I'm going to pull up her video, but she is a journalist that shares a lot of information and a lot of great stuff. But I think mainly her channel is about decentering men. I'm grateful. Again, these are women and content creators that I've been made aware of, that I continue to follow and listen to, because I'm trying to get unplugged. I'm trying to get rid of this stuff. And I hope, if you're a man watching this, that you will check out these channels, even if it may feel uncomfortable, even though it may challenge a lot of your beliefs. Check out their stuff because it's helpful. It's good. And I think if you actually listen and take time to listen, particularly to Black women who are trying to share insight with us, they are the oracles, right? If we're going to continue to tie into the matrix, that are helping us to be set free and helping others too, like Black women helping Black women and helping the community at large. We need to listen. I think it's very important that we actually take the time to sit and actually listen. And so I wanted to share this snippet from this video. It's called "Black Community Pulls Up on Racist Employee Who Attacked a Black Woman." And so at the beginning, she shows the clip and she goes into it and how one of the employees there called a young woman the N-word. And I think it's her family rolled up on him. It was her uncles and cousins and stuff. And they rolled up on him like 4 or 5 people deep and was like, yo, this guy needs to get fired. And so she talks about that and how it's important for the benefit of centering and supporting and helping Black women, how it's actually beneficial for the whole community, which I don't disagree with. The part that I wanted to focus on, though, is she talks about the way that this channel describes it is the importance of men decentering men. And I think I saw this as tying in to the work of unplugging from the matrix.
There are a couple of unspoken things that are at work within this video. One is the decentering of men by other men, and 2 is the decentering of whiteness by non-white people. Let's dive into these 2 things. We're gonna start with the decentering of men. Now, the main guy that was up there talking to the guy, being like, "Hey, my niece was called a racial slur by one of your employees." That's her uncle. And the other, I don't really know who the other people were. I'm assuming maybe like cousins, maybe a couple friends, maybe a couple community members, right? And because of the we've heard the phrase, it's a boys club. We've heard that a lot of men don't believe women. And what it takes for a man to actually believe women and then do something about it, especially when she's been wronged, is the ability to say, I hear you, I believe you, and I am pushing the patriarchy aside in order to get something done that will make you feel seen and protected. So to go toe to toe with another man, in order to protect a woman from another man, you have to not care about being liked by those men. You have to not care about being accepted into the boys club. You have to not care about how they see you in order to fully be present and stand up for the women, or for, in this case, the woman that has been wronged. You have to decenter men in order to protect the woman fully without trying to be like, oh, well, maybe he didn't mean it. Maybe he didn't say it like that. Maybe it was, And this is a perfect example of the intersection of that hydra that I keep talking about, which is white supremacy, patriarchy, and capitalism. We're talking about 2 heads, the patriarchy and the white supremacy. So in decentering men within this kind of context, one head down. Now the capitalism bit, once again, we're not really gonna be talking about that. But when it comes to the white supremacy bit, because we have a Black man with a Black community of mostly men talking to a non-Black person of color about a white man that has caused harm. For actual change to happen, not just within people of color, but I would like to say even more specifically with men of color, there has to be a decentering of wanting to be praised or upheld by the white gaze, by white supremacy. We've seen, I made a video about Janae and Kenny and how he's anti-Black and probably aligns himself more with the I know Black Dominican or Latin community in general, which automatically.
I think I have to pause here just so it doesn't seem like I'm actually just ripping her content. One, I'm going to put the link in the description so you can go check out her video and also check out her channel because it has She has a lot of great stuff. She shares a lot of helpful and awesome information. But two, I think she's mentioning something from Love Island. I don't watch Love Island. I guess maybe I will have to at some point. I understand it's all crazy, but I agree with her. I'm going to let her keep sharing what she's sharing. I like the description that she gives of the Hydra. I think the Hydra, the Matrix, whatever you want to call it, the system, the beast, all of it, they have all these different names. It's all the same concept, right? There's this bigger thing that we have to fight against, and we do have to unplug from it. And like she's saying, like you can't, you have to let that go. You know, she's mentioning white supremacy here, but even patriarchy, like you have to let that stuff go for the benefit of others. So like in the example here, young lady's family was coming to help her. For them to effectively help her, they had to let go of that stuff to actually show up for her. The same is true for us in our lives, whether it's personally, like there are certain concepts that we need to let go of so that we can be healthy. Like if you're a black man and you're still upholding white supremacy, whether it's in your mind or whatever, you can't be fully you. You can't be fully whole. You can't fully heal yourself if you're continuing to pedestalize that. So these are, again, whether it's the multiple heads of a Hydra or it's all of the plugs that we're connected to in the Matrix. You got to get rid of those things. But let's let Shayna continue.
And probably aligns himself more with the I know Black Dominican or Latin community in general, which is automatically centering whiteness. And with that, he has lost his fame and has now become infamous. He has lost brand deals. He has lost friends. He's lost community, all because he centered whiteness. He centered whiteness. So for actual change and protection to happen, and mind you, there's a lot of people that try to pander to whiteness. There's a lot of people that uphold, in communities of color, that uphold white beauty standards, that want to be seen and praised by white people. There's a lot of, and we see this play out a lot of times with patriarchy, with capitalism, because whiteness is also an approximation to power. But in order to call a thing and to actually make difference, you have to decenter it. You have to take it and put it to the side. Why? Because we are here for the community. We are here for the protection and the uplifting of the community. And the community is not white, and the community that has been harmed, the community member that has been harmed, also is not male. So what do we have to do? We have to look into the face of white supremacy, and in this, oh my God, Malek. And in this case, also happen to be a white man, and say, hey, you done bad. We are implementing consequences. We don't care if you like us or not. We are here for our community member who you have wronged, and we are not leaving until right and justice is done. For me to start talking more positively about men by and large, or just more often, I need to see more of this kind of action. I need to see more of this kind of action happening intersectionally with multiple heads of the Hydra, similarly to this.
So yes, no, thank you so much, Shayna, for that. I really appreciate that. And again, I will put the link in the description so you can watch the full video with the full context and all this stuff. And again, also check out her channel and all the other videos and content that she creates. But no, I mean, again, she's right. If we are actually to do any good, particularly as men, if we really do want to be beneficial, we have to focus on the community at large. And that means we do have to decenter a lot of stuff. We have to decenter a lot of stuff in the Matrix and a lot of things that we hold on to for our own privilege, for our own safety, and for our own comfort. And I say that, again, to myself as a person in progress, because I'm not there. I still jack up. It sucks. You know, I think there's a lot of comfort and privilege that comes, again, with being a part of the Matrix and benefiting from it. It's true. There's another character in the Matrix. I want to say his name is Cyrus, but he is the traitor in the movie, right? He is this guy, the bald guy. And so if you've seen the movie, again, at this point, this movie is old. That's crazy. This movie came out in 1999, I believe. That makes me feel old. But anyways, he is the traitor of the bunch. He's the one that gives Morpheus over to the agents and like starts to F everything up, right? But in the process of him being a traitor, he has to go and talk to the agents and get plugged back into the Matrix because he was tired of living in the real world. He didn't want to be a good guy anymore. He didn't want to be on the right side of justice. What he wanted was his comforts. What he wanted was his peace. What he wanted was riches and convenience. Because when he was trying to make a deal with the agents, he was saying, like, when you plug me back in, I want to be rich. I want to have all this stuff. I want to have the best things. Like, give me all of that stuff. And a lot of us as men are willing to do that, sacrificing the whole. In this case, in the movie, sacrificing Morpheus sacrificing the one who would save everyone just for our benefit, just for our privileges, just for the things that we would enjoy. And it happens every day, whether you're at work and you have the opportunity to speak up for somebody, whether it's a woman or somebody that's being oppressed or mistreated, we have the opportunity as men to speak up and intervene. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Like there's so many different ways that we could show up if we actually focused on serving the whole. But again, it requires us to unplug from the matrix. It requires us to unplug from these systems that we benefit from and really focus on how is this helping everybody else. The process to leave the matrix is a real thing, and we have to commit to it though. It's hard, it can be difficult, and it can be challenging, but it's worth it in the end. Clearly, as the matrix goes on with its 3-4 movies, you focus on the whole, the humans win, everything gets better. And that's always the hope, right? Like the community will get into a better place. And I think, as Shayna was saying in her video, particularly for us in the real world that we exist in, centering and supporting and uplifting and protecting Black women is the work that we need to do, particularly as Black men in our community. That's the work that we need to do to help the whole, help the all. That requires us to unplug from a lot of bad beliefs, bad thoughts, bad institutions, a lot of the matrix that we've been programmed to benefit from. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. I appreciate it. Thank you all again for watching, and I appreciate it. It's difficult work, but it's work that can be done, and it's work that I'm trying to do, and I hope I can encourage you to do the same.